When you are doing word problems for proportions, you are holding a relationship to be constant. So, there is a way to tackle these types of problems, and I've given a method here. The first thing says to write the relationship in a ratio of words, thing A to thing B to total. So let's look at our first question. The ratio relationship of pens to pencils in a box is 6 to 7. If there are 26 pens and pencils in the box in total, then the first question, how many pens are actually in the box? B, how many pencils are actually in the box? C, how many things are in the box altogether? So that means pens and pencils because they're both things. And what is the ratio relationship of pens to pencils in reduced form? So the first step says to write thing A to thing B to total. So what are the things that we're talking about? We're talking about pens and pencils. So thing A is pens, dot dot makes it a ratio. Thing B is pencils, and then we're going to put that to the total things. Now, second, fill in the numbers you are given as equivalent ratios. So, the ratio relationship of pens to pencils is 6 to 7. So if there's 6 pens, there's going to be 7 pencils. And then how many things are there altogether? Well, 6 plus 7 is 13. Now, if there were 12 pens, let's do this in a different color. Let's say there's 12 pens. Well, you had to multiply 6 by 2 to get 12, so that means you would have to multiply 7 by 2 to get 14, and then you can add up 12 plus 14, or you can multiply 13 times 2 to get 26. This, if you have every number in your ratio relationship being multiplied by the same constant, we usually call this K, the constant of proportionality, then this relationship is holding. So we could have used a constant K of 10, and the relationship would hold. If you had 60 pens to 70 pencils, which is 130 things altogether. Now, the rest of the question is going to choose a specific K. So, how long will this take? That'll take too long. Let's erase it. Okay, so how many pens are actually in the box? Well, what information haven't we used yet? The fact that there's 26 pens and pencils in the box. So they're telling us the total is actually 26. So we know that to change 13 into 26, you multiply by 2. So that means we have to multiply these by 2. Oh, I was right last time, choosing K as 2. So if we know the relationship holds and we know the total is 26, then that means if the total is 26, then 12 of them are pens and 14 of them are pencils. So the answer to A, how many pens are actually in the box? Therefore, 12 pens are in the box. Not enough room to write a complete, proper grammatical sentence. So question B says, how many pencils are actually in the box? So once again, this is our relationship in words, pens to pencils to total. The relationship ratio is 6 to 7 to 13. Then they told us there are 26 things in the box altogether. So that meant we can figure out by calculating using a K equals 2 that there are actually 12 pens and 14 pencils in the box. So question B is asking us how many pencils are actually in the box altogether. Therefore, 14 pencils in box. So question C asks us, how many things are in the box altogether? That's a trick question. I just want to make sure that you understand what is actually going on. So there are 26 things in the box altogether. What is the ratio relationship of pens to pencils? What is the ratio relationship of pencils to pens in reduced form? So, D wants pencils to pens. So over here we had pens to pencils. So now they want pencils to pens. So that would be pens to pencils is 6 to 7. So pencils to pens would be 7 to 6. And they're not asking for totals. They just want the ratio relationship of pencils to pens in reduced form. Well, you can't reduce that anymore. If we had chosen to take 14 to 12, then we would have to divide by 2 to put it into reduced form, which would be 76. So this is our reduced form of pencils to pens.